Hello, fellow nerd. You have been invited to our extremely exclusive school because you are either very unique or extremely talented in a multitude of ways. Please join us. Does this sound familiar? This is the beginning plot to Harry Potter, Wednesday, and Wicked. A prestigious school full of talented individuals, and somehow our protagonist finds a way to stand apart from everyone else. This is a tried and true plot device. It's a pretty common coming-of-age story. A curious young mind that is open to be changed, to be molded, or to be corrupted. Hello, fellow nerds. This is Jean, the nerd that knits, and I will be talking about the power of opposites. Are you dark or are you light? Black versus white, good versus evil, dark versus light. The power of opposites. Over the years, this power dynamic has played in a multitude of ways. Recently, I have noticed that the power of opposites has returned, this time in a foil, a character foil. What is a foil? Foil. It's a word that transports me back to my freshman year of high school in my English literature class. A foil in literature is a character that contrasts against another character. Usually the foil is contrasted against the protagonist. You see this a lot with like protagonist versus antagonist. Classic foil. But what does literature have to do with knitting? Knitting clothing is a way of expressing our individuality. Anything that we knit isn't being mass-produced. So in a way, we are a part of an exclusive club, a student body population at a school, or a special club. But more exclusively, knitting is weaving yarns into a finished project, and writing is weaving a story with words, meaning that they are one and the same, at least in my humble opinion. But what really draws us into a plot is a good old juxtaposition, and nothing hooks us more than a character foil. So pop culture obviously is something we do here, and a lot of TV shows and movies are bringing out these foil characters. If you are a fan of the TV show Wednesday, what isn't more of a contrast between Wednesday and her roommate Enid Sinclair? Wednesday is black and Enid is pink. I mean, such a big contrast. Another popular foil is found in Wicked, Ephelba and Glinda. I hate to say it, but once you see it, it pops up everywhere. But I think the foil sometimes gets it wrong. There is a power in opposites. A foil is a way to play with situations and push boundaries. It helps the author explore the depths of their character because their character needs to play off of each other in order to grow, i.e., all of the Harry Potter characters. Take Wednesday and Wicked, for example. A main character and a secondary main character, and they just happen to be roommates. What are the chances? One has a bubbly personality with cotton candy pink vibes, and the other is withdrawn, particularly moody and sarcastic. I don't know which one I'd be. Why, thank you, author, for that easy connection. Some foils between characters are easy to see through color, personalities, while others are much harder. A classic foil that is a little harder is the characters found in Jane Austen novels, but I digress. So are you a light or are you a dark character? Well, I am not every day a Wednesday. I'm not every day an Enid either, and I don't think you are either. Humans are complex, and some days I don't want to be complex. I want to live in this fantasy of having a persona. And what is fun is exploring opposites in your everyday attire. I'm not gonna lie, I understand why Lady Gaga keeps reinventing herself. It's fun. And so is crafting and creating a persona with colors and textures. And so I want you to embrace your inner foil by creating two different looks using the inspiration of two powerful ladies. Technically, it would be 4 powerful ladies, and actually it would be 5 if we count Jane Austen all by herself. Whether it be for fun, a costume, or whatever, I choose the dark and the light. So while exploring this concept, I found a knitwear designer that had 2 hats that showcase this concept. Cute pink and, in my opinion, sexy black. So I bought these patterns hoping to just speed through this concept like speed. but both like Speed, the movie, the brakes were failing and this project went off the rails. So let me explain. One of the hats that I used had the concept of a spiderweb hat pattern. I thought that the vertical lines would be knitted just like the horizontal lines were, but that wasn't the case. The designer added the vertical lines later with a crocheting hook. I learned this after I bought the pattern. Okay, so this is when I decided to design my own. So how was my design different than the other designer's design? Well, first of all, my vertical and horizontal lines were put in at the same time. And how I made like one particular line stand out more than the other was I used kind of like a slip stitch one round and then I just knitted it. So that way the vertical lines were more prominent. The horizontal lines were basically in a graph form. So I kind of created a web where I was using a graph. You'll definitely see this when I show my pattern to you. In my particular design, I am using vertical and horizontal lines while I'm creating the hat. In the designer's design, she basically striped the hat and then would go at a crochet hook and then add the vertical lines after the hat was done. So that was the big difference. And for me, as a knitter who's been knitting a while, I just wasn't having it. And so therefore, I had to redesign the whole hat. We will get to those difficulties a little bit later. Now with a secondary hat. There were pearls throughout the hat, but there were no notes of the size of the bead, where you could get the bead, nor placement when you are knitting up the hat. And then also there was added detailing, but that was also added later with a crochet hook. Listen, I have nothing against a little crochet detailing, but the crochet detailing instructions weren't even listed on the pattern. The designer only provided a YouTube video, which I'm happy about, but when you buy a pattern, you do expect a little bit more direction, especially with the original artist's intent. Also, especially when it comes to bead placement and decoration. Because once you start freestyling, in my opinion, it's not a pattern. This is just knitter's choice. Now, designing a pattern is not easy, and I have the receipts to show you. So, like I said, I had to redesign this pattern. So I have redesigned this hat pattern 3 times, and I'm still not 100% happy with it. But it does go to show you that every pattern is a work in progress. So without further ado, I will show you my prototype. Here is my prototype. I hoped it would have been bigger, but alas, it would fit a baby. Like, I mean, I guess I could do, oh. Nah. See, that's all I could do. I could maybe make it like, I mean, look at how cute it is. I probably could just like pin it like this, and that would be like very sexy. But yeah, this will not fit a head. It would fit a side, just the side of my head, which that's not what I'm going for. So what did I change? This is my second one. I did change a few things. I think I changed the needle size and I added some beads. Ooh, beads. So I'm going to put it on and show you what it looks like, because this one actually does fit my head. But as you can see, to me, it's kind of like a pillbox hat. Just, you know, it's a baby. Once again, second hat, got it. The last hat, I changed the yarn to DK with the lace weight yarn, and I changed the design a little bit. This design I felt was like not as pointy. It was kind of flat at the top, and then I also kind of wanted the beads to come down just a little bit more, because the whole idea is it's a spider web, and you'll see what I mean with the last hat, because I did indeed find spider pins to put on the hat just to make it, you know, a little bit more spidery. So here is my finished product. As you can see, I put the spider here. As you can see, I think you can see, it's a little bit of more of an arced design right here. I put some spiders on here. So it just kind of draws in a little bit more of the idea, like this is a spider web. Just in case you didn't get it with the detailing of the beads and the way that the lines are. Now, could I have also beaded this detailing in here? Yeah, I could, and I might in the future. But once again, this is my third time at this hat. As for the secondary hat, this hat had more of the fun, flirty, cute, girly vibes. So originally I was going to do pearls and I was going to do roses. I couldn't find a lot of patterns for mini rosettes, especially when it came to knitting. So then I was like, oh, I'll just use ribbon roses. So then I found some ribbon roses that I thought would work. But then I also was like, well, how would I tie them onto the hat? And I was thinking, oh, I could use yarn, I could do this, I could do that. But to me, that just got really finicky. And so I decided, nada, we're gonna go completely different. And so once again, I used beads in this motif too, but I used a heart-shaped motif as well as with pearls. So this one is kind of like cute. And this is basically a one and done. Just goes to show you, to me, the darker elements, more complex, take more time. Lighter elements, I don't know why. It was like, perfect. So here is the really cute one and done. Doesn't it just liven up a room? So with this particular one, I did a beading of blue hearts and pearls. And then I kind of stopped the motif right here, and I just focused on the pearls at the top, just because it's really hard to decrease a motif, kind of another thing that I kind of ran into with spider web. With the spider web, you can go a little bit wider on the bottom, and then you can narrow to the top, and then actually carries on the motif. It looks like a spider web. This one, you can't particularly do that. Don't I just look like sugar and spice and everything nice? Yeah. So now we are going to complete my look. So if you have been following me on Threads, you would know that I made this lovely piece, and I did it for a reason. My cute little cutesy look is adorbs. Yes, I just look adorable, like a character, like a sweet little light character. But when I'm feeling particularly not in the mood, but still want to look glamorous and sexy, there we go. Not super dark, but also more like an elegance darkness in a way. So once again, there is amazing power that comes with having opposites, especially when you're dark one day and you're light another day. I hope you enjoyed watching this. Happy knitting. And if you have questions about these two patterns that I made, please leave a comment, message me. We'll see what we can do. I did write down the pattern. You know, I obviously have a lot to learn about designing still. So yes, please tell me what you think of the hat, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks. Please like, comment, and subscribe.